Okay. Welcome to the July 22nd meeting of the Municipal Building Commission. First order of business is to call the roll to make sure we have a quorum. Terry DeSisto. You have to unmute.
Sorry, here.
Ed Stanton.
Here.
Jackie Romanicki.
Here.
Jerry Freecott.
Here.
Mike Tyler.
Here.
Andrew Acosta.
Here.
And I am here. So that means we have the full complement of people. I know that Gail Clark's name was sent down to the council last night and she may be confirmed soon. I don't see she's joined us for tonight though. But we'll have another member soon. The next order of business is to approve the July 1st minutes that were emailed out by Jeremy. Is there a
Move to
motion?
approve. Second.
Is there any discussion? I'll ask for a roll call vote. Terry DeSisto,
Yes.
Ed Stanton,
Yes.
Jackie Romanicki,
Yes.
Jerry Freecott,
Yes.
Mike Tyler,
Yes.
Andrew Acosta,
Yes.
and the chair votes yes, so that passes unanimously. Then with regard to the bills, we have a bill for the Brennan and Wamsutta roof for Skanska for $5,805. And we have a bill from for the wastewater facility from Fall River Electric, application number 4, for work completed through June 30th. And that's $14,516.95. You'll notice I skipped the Attleboro Pawtucket interchange bill. There are some questions. I can see Gail Clark has joined us. Welcome, Gail.
Jack, if I could just interject for a second. I resent an agenda with 2 more attachments with 2 more bills this afternoon that we had since gotten. I'm not sure if you had a chance to review them. I can share my screen or I can share the bills with NBC. Jack has seen the bills, so I'm not sure how you quite want to move forward with this as the chair.
Okay, so what I would say is that, first of all, we're going to keep the Attleboro Pawtucket one on hold because of some questions about the bill. And then secondly, the one for Fall River Electric, is that their final bill, Jeremy?
Except for releasing the retainage. There's a few $1,000s left, but it's their final application for work before closeout, yes.
Okay, and was there substantial completion achieved on that?
Yes, there was.
So we need to vote to recommend substantial completion to the mayor. Do we know what the date was of that?
Give me a second and I'll take a look.
And then while you're doing that, I think there is a bill from MDM Engineering for for $75,325.50, if I'm reading that right.
Correct.
And that has been approved. That's for the middle school roofs, and that's been approved by Susan Gleason and by Russo Barr, correct?
Correct. And that is for their bonds and permits. No billing for no actual work. Just those 2 things at both schools.
Okay. And then the other bill, oh, you know what? I found my updated agenda here at the bottom of the pile. So the other bill is for library renovation, and that's for BH&A for $111,625. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. So Evan, do you recommend that we pay that bill to BH&A?
I do so recommend.
Okay. Jeremy, did you figure out what the date of substantial completion was?
Yes, the date was June 26th, and then the certificate was forwarded to the NBC on July 8th.
Okay, so we're going to take a vote to approve the BH&A bill, the MDM engineering bill, the Fall River Electric bill, and the Skanska bill, and then we'll move on to the substantial completion.
Move to approve.
second,
Any discussion? Okay, then Terry DeSisto,
yes,
Ed Stanton.
Yes.
Jackie Romanicki,
Yes.
Jerry Freacott,
Yes.
Mike Tyler,
Yes.
Andrew Acosta,
Yes.
and I vote yes, so that passes. And then they did achieve substantial completion on the with Fall River Electric on those variable frequency drives, if I have that correct. And Tom Hayes has accepted that and says the work is done and has recommended substantial completion. And CDM Smith has done so as well. So I think a motion is in order for us to recommend that the mayor accept substantial completion effective on June 26th.
Move to accept substantial completion.
second,
Is there any discussion? All right, then Terry DeSisto,
yes,
Ed Stanton,
Yes.
Jackie Romanicki,
Yes.
Jerry Freacott,
Yes.
Mike Tyler,
Yes.
Andrew Acosta,
Yes.
and the chair votes yes, so that passes unanimously. All right, we will not be hearing from the water department tonight. They will be giving us a presentation on August 6th. And our next meeting will be on August 6th. So that just leaves us with the library repair project. And so
Just to be clear, Jack, you didn't vote on the Attleboro Pawtucket Exchange invoice, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
That one's on hold pending further review.
Yep, just wanted to make sure my notes were clear. Thank you.
Yeah. So with regard to the library project, Evan or Deborah, who's going to address us?
Yeah, so I'll jump in if that's all right, Deborah. So we completed the 80% CDs a couple of weeks ago. Last week received the estimates from the independent estimators. We have good news there. We anticipate on bid day something in the order of $4.8 million. If you recall, we had 5.4 as kind of a estimated total construction cost. However, I'll remind folks that the 4.8 does not include the accessibility upgrades, but just generally with those accessibility upgrades kind of estimated and included, we see the project at somewhere of just about 5 million to that, and that translates into a good overall project budget. I can put the project budget on the screen if
Yeah, that would be good.
all right, let me see if I can do that. So sorry if this is a little hard to read, but just generally we've done a budget update. We've included an amendment here under the architect for the design fees, for the additional design fees for the elevator work, and then kind of projected down here with our current estimates, with an accessibility allowance of about 145,000, and that gets us to roughly to that 5 million number. We transferred a little money from the soft cost contingency to cover the elevator amendment, so that's the only difference from the last time we had sent something over. Construction contingency remains at 700,000, which is very healthy. So our current projection is that it looks like we'll be a good 400,000 under the total project budget, which was initially set at 6.9.
Well, that's good news. And with the healthy contingency, perhaps we can return even more money to the city.
Correct. So with that, we would be looking to, let me see if I can't share another part. This is a partial schedule. So we're looking to, we recommend based on the 80% estimates to proceed out to bid. And so we'd be looking for, we'd recommend that to the commission and be looking for permission to move forward with that. And the intent would be that we get the 100% bid documents that are kind of wrapping up next week over to Bid Docs Online, that we would actually start bidding on August 4th, which is a Tuesday, have a walkthrough, collect filed sub bids 2 weeks later, and then the GC bids 2 weeks after that. That would put us on Tuesday, September 1st. And then we would be in a position to recommend to you folks to award contract based on those bids and the lowest responsible and eligible bidder at your early September Municipal Building Commission meeting.
Okay, that looks good, which would allow us to get work done before the snow flies. And we're still projecting to finish up around this time a year from now, right?
Correct.
Okay. Any commission members have any questions?
Yeah, I have a question, Jack.
Go ahead, Mike.
So, and maybe I'm wrong. I'm just going by hearsay of what I've seen a little bit. So, is it my understanding right now that the library is closed to all incoming foot traffic, and does that affect how we might be able to expedite this work? Since because I'm not sure when it's supposed to be open back to that. Maybe something Christine could answer.
Sure, happy to answer. Right now, we're just doing curbside services, but as soon as our plexiglass is up in reference, we'll be opening in mid-August.
Okay.
Probably the 12th is our target date.
Okay. Thanks, Christine.
Mm-hmm.
And Christine, did you have a chance to review the phasing plan and discuss with your staff how you're going to stay open from October 1st to August 1st?
Well, I mean, I did look at the document that Deborah provided, but I was hoping to go over it in more detail with Evan and his team, so I have a better understanding of what dates apply to each phase potentially, so we know how to move technology around the building. But we expect that we're going to have to move things around, and we're planning for that.
Yeah. So, and just to be clear, this is information in the document so that we're kind of, we're owning the phasing, we're letting the contractor know this is an occupied facility, things are going to need to move around. Once we actually get a GC and the filed subs on board, we can come up with a much better kind of time frame for those phases and get into quite a bit more nitty gritty. And in most cases, the contractors are very adept at accommodating any daily changes or any of the rest of it. So it will be a tough haul for a while, but we will all get through it for sure.
Okay, so that raises a question in my mind. Chris, are you going to need some labor available at various times to pick things up and put them down? That was an old commercial.
Yes.
Christine?
If I could just jump in, we certainly would expect that we would need to be doing certain things like, moving valuable pieces of art, taking down some stuff on the walls, moving furniture around and things like that. So there will be some of that coordination, although the most of the library's not very cluttered with a lot of furniture and other things. So again, we should be able to coordinate that appropriately.
Oh, I assume that, Evan, but my question was more directed at, do we need to use some of the money in the bond issue to perhaps hire some additional laborers to move things? Or is that something that the general contractor is going to have to do for us?
Well, so I think that it's going to be a combination of both. I believe that there's some, for instance, disconnecting and moving and protecting technology. I think we want to make sure that the library or the city's tech folks are actually doing that. There is certainly money in the budget that if there was additional dollars that needed to be, whether that was happening off hours or during someone's normal workday period and whatnot, but that most of the moving of I'll say non-sensitive items should be by the contractor.
Okay, so again, I'm going to ask Christine, do you have, sufficient staff, and I'll throw this to Jeremy as well. Do we have sufficient staff within the city to do that? Or do we need to consider having an arrangement in place where we could call upon somebody, whether it's a moving company or just a general labor company, to come in and move things over a weekend or something because the contractor was finishing something on Friday and starting somewhere else on Monday? Is this an issue that we need to anticipate?
I would say potentially it is an issue, not so much for the technology, because we've already reached out to MIS, and I've looked at some of the departments that may have to temporarily move, and we can certainly do that. But I'm not sure how, like reading Deborah's notes was like owner to clear area, owner to clear area. We don't have that many people to clear areas. So I guess I just need to have a better understanding of what clear the area means. I know we already discussed about leaving most of the shelving and materials in place and that they would be protected. So, I mean, that's a big weight off of what we would need to do, but I have to have a better understanding when Evan and I meet, or whoever's going to be, be on the ground there to give me instruction. I assume we'll walk through and I have a better understanding of what needs to be moved. And in that case, we might need some movers to help relocate things, because we do only have one custodian that could assist in those efforts, unless we could bring in folks from somewhere else in the city.
Yeah, we don't have a large facility maintenance or staff to do that sort of thing. So I would actually, my first call would be to Mike Tyler. Who's
shaking his head.
He's shaking his head vigorously.
So I'll parrot the administration line that no department has enough people to do what they need to do, let alone kind of above and beyond services like this. So I would be hesitant to commit other city personnel to be able to help out moving, apart from what the library can, pack in boxes and put on a dolly sort of thing.
So Jeremy, you're anticipating my question, and my thought is do we need to, perhaps through purchasing or through your office, Jeremy, put in place some labor that we could call on as needed to help with anything that needed to be moved?
We could do that as part of the project budget. I don't think it's an appropriate expense for the general fund. And I don't know the budget
Well,
for
we've
this
got
project.
$700,000 in contingency and we're hoping the bids come in 400,000 under. So I think we have enough money. Just guess I'd like to put on your radar, figuring out how we could put in place a contract, for the next year, that we could provide labor when needed to help Christine move things around.
Yeah, the short answer is yes, we can do something like that. Yes.
So Jack, if I could, there's a whole group of folks in my office that largely just does kind of move management services and things like that. So I will talk to some of them, talk about our project and see where they might be able to direct me to a couple of firms or something like that, where we might be able to kind of get some help or labor on an as needed basis. So let me also reach out on my end to see what I can't come up with.
Well, that's a very good point, because we don't have to go through the 30B process, if I understand things right, Jeremy, if we amend your contract to provide that as a subcontractor.
Right.
So if that's possible to do that, then that would strike me that may be the cleanest way to go about doing this.
Yeah, design services are exempt from the 30B, but I'm not sure about amending the contract to do something outside of that. I would have to check with purchasing.
And the auditor.
Always.
Yeah. So certainly, let me look into it on my end. Jeremy, you can look into it on your end, and Chris, I'll plan on getting in touch with you to set up a time or something early next week to go over the phasing and figure out what kinds of stuff that we're talking about needs to get kind of quote unquote moved by the owner, or whether we're going to dish that back to the general contractor.
Okay, great. That'll be helpful.
Okay.
Deborah, do you have anything to add to our discussion?
Yeah, I was just going to clarify that. I think the way we have it noted on the drawing so far, and the room that I think I was trying to describe in something I sent to Chris, was that storage room on the 4th floor, where there's a lot of stuff in there, and that's where there's that big ductwork that's coming out. And it was a little confusion that was maybe I was confusing that room with the IT closet. But what we were trying to own for the was to tell the contractor that stuff will be cleared out of their way for them to do their work, so they won't have to be moving tables and chairs and boxes and other loose things. But there will still be stuff in the spaces that they have to protect. Like they would have to put tarps over desks and things so everything doesn't get dusty. I wasn't, assuming that there isn't a need to start moving every desk out of the room just because something is going to happen on one side of the room. So that was kind of the level of information. But I mean, if we don't say anything on the drawings, they will assume that the owner is moving any loose things that are in their way.
Okay. It still, though, sounds to me like we may need some service of some people who can pick things up and put them down somewhere else. So if we can look into this from the city end, from the procurement end, and Evan, if you can get us some information, I think that would be helpful.
Will do.
Are there any other questions?
I think my question will probably get answered as I speak more closely with Evan, but I guess I was curious about, not just moving things that might be in the contractor's way, but moving things so that staff can continue to work. So, we may need to move a whole department like technical services, and that's going to involve moving desks, moving computers. So yes, we'll have MIS do the wiring, but the physical moving of that stuff might be too much to ask just a custodian to do, to get
Yeah.
everything from the 4th floor to the 2nd floor, et cetera.
That's what I was thinking. So let's spend some time next week figuring out what you need to know, and then at a future meeting, we'll find out how we can go about providing you with the labor you need.
Excellent. Thank you.
Okay. Is there anything else on this project, or are we ready to authorize the architect to put this out to bid?
I would think that we were ready for that, correct?
Commission members, any other questions on that?
No.
Jackie,
So moved.
second,
is there any discussion? All those, can't do that. Just force the habit. Terry DeSisto,
yes.
Ed Stanton.
Yes.
Jackie Romanicki,
Yes.
Jerry Freecott,
Yes.
Mike Tyler,
Yes.
Andrew Acosta,
Yes.
and the chair votes yes, so that is unanimous. Then our next two meetings are August 6th and September 2nd. And remember that we have a school building committee meeting on August 12th. And unless anyone has anything new they want to bring up, we can call for a motion to adjourn.
Before you do that, Jackie, I had sent an email about the August 5th meeting and moving it either to Tuesday or Thursday to accommodate a conflict that the chair has. So if you all get back to me about that.
We talked to everyone, and it's going to be August 6th.
All right, I missed that part before we started.
You were
Thank you.
walking back to City Hall, and we talked about that before we went live.
Perfect. Thank you.
So thank you for sending that out.
Of course.
So Gail, do you think you'll be sworn in by then?
It's got it on mute.
Should be sworn in on Thursday.
Well, she'll be.
Here she comes.
The vote of the council will take place tomorrow, and then the mayor has to sign the vote, and then she has to go to stand in front of Steve Withers and raise her right hand and swear, but it's nice swearing. So,
And what's the date after the 6th? Sorry, I was hung up on getting that one correct, and I missed what you said about the September meeting.
September 2nd,
Thank you.
and then I reminded everybody of August 12th for the school building committee. So with that, Jackie, is there a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Second,
Okay, Terry,
yes.
Ed,
Yes.
Jackie,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Andrew,
Yes.
and the chair votes yes, so we are adjourned at 5:59.
No,